Live. We are live. Well,
You're so tired.
you had to do the longest meeting.
I'll
Go ahead and call the meeting order.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Travis and Nancy.
Last time I did this, it's inside. Jonathan O'Hara, about $306.24.
As you can see, our percentages is down, but we are right there with the numbers, and it's partially due to we have a lot of diversions from the hospitals. Too much, and plus our Medicare that we had a glitch, it's still coming in a little at a time. So,
If you actually see our total number of bills, is 258, which is our highest run volume we've had all year. So you factor all those things in again with diversions to other hospitals, just simply beds not being available to transfer people to. That does have an effect on the 29%. So I feel confident again. You look at the bottom line there, 75 transfers, and again compared to the 258 that we've taken, so it all kind of balances out there. So I'm not concerned with that at all, and hopefully you guys aren't either. Just a little bump for it. So do you guys have any questions with that?
No, I don't.
Okay. Nancy, again, still handling all of our past billing accounts, small claims, things like that. We have switched to our new, I forgot to put that in the report, but we have switched to our new billing Acumet as of a few days ago. Things seem to be going smoothly. We had some IT issues initially, which was completely understandable, switching a lot of things around. They came in, did a site visit with us. We got everything hammered out in a couple of hours with them. They got everything they needed. So we did go live with them as of, again, a few days ago. So I'll let you know if anything, I probably won't. But Nancy and the next guy that you would hire, they will definitely keep you up to date on that. And we should be getting, again, those same monthly statements showing our percentages, our revenue, what we brought in, what we haven't. I don't know if you guys had any questions on Nancy's portion.
No.
No? Okay, I'll be quick. I know you got a long agenda, so I got nothing crazy. Operations, we have no changes in our operational status. We continue to operate the 4 ALS ambulances out of the 3 stations throughout our county. Personnel, staffing is continuing to be an issue like it is again nationwide and more locally. Again, LaPorte County EMS, last guy, everybody around us is hurting for paramedics and EMTs. We had another full-time EMT that resigned due to a large pay increase with another agency. We have a full-time paramedic who may be leaving us in the coming weeks. He's actually in the first process with Valparaiso Fire Department. So sometimes that can be kind of a lengthy process. We might have him for another couple months, but again, he's taking a large pay increase by going to Valparaiso Fire. So we currently stand at 3 full-time paramedic spots open, which I would be filling 1. We also have a full-time EMT spot open currently. Been putting out lots of ads, different things like that. We've tried the Indeed things, but then you get a lot of people applying from out of the country, out of the just not even qualified. So you got to kind of sift through those. Obviously, Facebook's a free place that we can go to. Social media is always a good thing as far as sharing and stuff.
Have you reached out to Work One or?
I haven't reached out to Work One, no.
Okay.
No. And we're usually in contact quite a bit because usually they'll come around once or twice a year and they'll bring in some people actually to ask us questions about the profession and how to get started, and pays, and different things like that. So I can certainly do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's there's a big push from the state as far as training.
Okay.
It's like I think that's the next job, level jobs program.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're definitely working on it. I know we've had some of our EMTs go to work one, and talk to them about funding for paramedic programs and stuff, because some of them could be kind of pricey.
Mhm.
About $5,000 out of pocket right up front is what they want. So again, a lot of people don't have that just sitting around, so they're able to help with tuition and books and things like that. But so that's certainly something we can look at. So we'll continue working with the council and stuff to. They did give us a slight increase in pay, so hopefully that can help alleviate some of those issues, but time will tell. Again, there's just a shortage nationwide, Indiana, all that. So training wise, we did not hold our monthly audit review with local hospitals last month. The day that we typically set aside, we had a free trauma symposium that we were invited to participate in Valpo. We had our PH2S class for staff members. We had Samaritan Flight come in for a training. We went over scene safety and LZs. We had some staff members attend the cadaver lab again at South Bend Memorial Hospital. And we'll be holding our monthly audit review next Monday for local hospitals to get that back on track. Again, we're only supposed to do that quarterly for the state, but we like to do it monthly with them to keep up with all the changes and runs and things like that. So hopefully we can continue doing that. Safety, we had an injury-free month in the month of September and are doing well so far up to this point in October. Ambulance maintenance 3308, which is our 2021 Ford gas engine, is finally back in service. It had a lengthy repair that was completely under warranty. The main part was hold up on parts, getting those in. So that seems to be a common thing now too. And just to refresh your memory, it had lost all brakes and power steering, so it completely was out of service and sitting at the Ford garage for quite some time. But we did get it back now. 4230, which is our 2019 Ford gas, received a full service oil change. 0514, which is the 2015 diesel, had no major issues to report. It did have a top locking mechanism that we had to replace and a door handle on the rear door. And we're actually still working with fire service and wheel coach to get that door repaired a little further. So the few mechanisms that we replaced weren't the actual problem that they were thinking. So then we tried the door handle, and now it's another issue inside another mechanism. So we're working on that. It is still in service though. But hopefully we can get that completely repaired soon. 0086 had no major issues. It remains in the backup slot. 0085 in 2013 had no major issues, and it'll go in for service here soon. 0084 gets back in service today, actually. Plymouth just called me this morning. They do have that completed, but it was over there for DEF system issues, power steering box was leaking, and it had oil pan leak. So again, I did this on Friday, so I said hopefully next week, and it's here. So no repairs needed for my vehicle, the 2013 Ford Explorer. And base maintenance, we had no major issues for the month of September. PPE, we're currently stable on all that. And again, last thing is this is just my final meeting with you guys. Just want to take a moment to thank you guys for all the support that you've given me in our service. And it's been a ride. So 5.5 years. And again, hopefully we can continue making great improvements and start cutting events. So I look forward to just going back to the truck.
Thank you for the great job.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for what you've done. You've definitely left it better than you found it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully we can keep going in the right direction. You guys got any questions?
No, sure.
All right.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks. Dan, come on up.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good news to report on the personnel front. We're down to 3 open positions. I do have a fella coming in this week, so hopefully there'll be more good news. We should have an ad coming out this week for more help. As far as the grant status, nothing's really changed there. It's the same as the last meeting. I have to get the asset management plan put together for LTAP by December 1st, which after the meeting, I'm heading to Lafayette to get some training on the asset management. So that should be on schedule. That should not be an issue. As far as the equipment goes, we got some good news there. The distributor truck is built. They're trying to find trucking to get it back up to Fort Wayne. They're gonna go over it, make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be, and we should get delivery of it maybe by the end of the week. Truck 61, we have a motor, located a motor for that. Hopefully that's gonna get finished up this week, so we'll have an extra truck on the road. The service truck has lost oil pressure and has a really bad knock in the motor. That's a 1997 service truck, so it might be time to replace that. The red semi continues to have some issues. But it's good enough for hauling equipment around. We don't want to haul stuff with it, but just for hauling equipment to the job site, they can let by. And then the New Holland brush cutter, we finally found a rebuilt kit for that. That's been ordered. That should be here, I think, mid-November. Bridge inspections on Friday. There's 4 bridges that we're going to inspect. Half the bridges have been washed and cleaned. We're going to try to get the other half knocked out here in the next couple of weeks. As far as the hot mix project on 600 East, currently we're in the final stage of getting the burning completed on it. Hopefully that project will get wrapped up this week. We kind of lost a week last week. That storm Monday night, we had some straight winds and we were chasing trees every day last week, chipping them up. So we lost a little time last week. As far as the chip seal project went, we got the old truck, the old distributor in, got it repaired and got the guy trained on how to operate it. We were able to do a little over 15.5 miles. When we started, we were hoping to get 7 or 8 done. So we did better than what we thought we were going to do. And as far as this morning, there was no complaints called in. Keep our fingers crossed, but all the roads look good. Since we finished chip sealing, I turned the attention to the shop. Start doing a 5S project to clean up the shop. Basically, we bought some racks, used racks to help get the stuff off the floor. Back 2 months ago, I had the insurance company come in and help do an audit on the garage. So we're working on those projects to get it cleaned up and get it organized. I rearranged the trucks in the yard. Instead of having all the plows in one area and the sanders in another area and the trucks in another area. Every truck now is going to park in front of its plow. So it's organized. And we know which trucks are 100% ready to go on the road. So when you drive by, it's going to look a little different when you pull in because the equipment that's not running has been moved out back and it's quarantined. So we know if it's parked in this area, it's not running. Good equipment's in this area. And we're probably 2 weeks away from hauling equipment up to the glove factory for winter storage.
I mean, you're gonna be ready for snow within 2 weeks?
We are putting the sanders on the last week of the month, and we're gonna go through those.
Because if you're ready for it, we won't get it. But if you're not ready for it, we'll get it.
Right. In rearranging the yard, we did truck inspections as well. And we found like 8 plows that need welding. So now we have a list of plows to bring in and get welded. So hopefully when the snow does come, we will be ready there. As far as the roadsides go, we've had a lot of complaints, and this summer was just tremendous for weed growth. As long as the weather holds up, I'm going to continue to mow roadsides. We have 4 tractors with cabs. We're going to run those even through the winter. 2 of them are brush choppers, but we're going to keep the brush choppers going all through the winter month. We do have 2 chippers. One's been broke down for quite a while. We had that repaired. So now we're gonna be able to send 2 chipping crews out to work the roadsides. So that's gonna be a priority going into the winter months, is work on the roadsides. And then next Monday and Tuesday, we have the insurance companies coming in, bringing their snow plow simulator. That's gonna be the 25th and 26th. And then last Monday, REMC was supposed to come in and do some training with overhead down power lines, but due to the storm, they had just as many issues that we did. So that has not been rescheduled yet. Will be shortly.
Right. Dan, do you want to have the commissioner sign the LPA consulting contract for bridge number 59, which is on County Road 700 South over the bogus runs? And then you can take that back to Amanda.
Okay.
Does she needed that?
Yeah, she's the ERC.
I believe that one's supposed to begin next year. Is that right? 59?
Yes. That's the next one. No, 137 is the next page.
Okay.
Then
Maybe.
59.
Then maybe this one is in 2023.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Larry?
Oh, guys. We're here with Prairie Trail Club, Steve Lucas is secretary, and just gonna turn it over to him. I talked to a couple of you guys about this US Bike Route 35 and want to kind of reroute that route. Steve, you want to leave those maps out too?
Yeah, that would be good. I'll keep one of them so I can kind of. First thing I'd like to do, if I may, is to thank you for all your support over the years. And we're happy to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for the 2-mile extension of the Erie Trail coming up this week. And we would like to invite you to attend. If you'd like to have a representative speak at the ribbon cutting, we'd be really pleased if that were the case. And if you have any questions about that, I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, I'll just kind of move right into.
I did the last one, so you guys can do this ribbon cut.
We put before you the brochure that the Prairie Trails Club has made up that sets forth the trail system within Starke County, including the connectors that the commissioners approved a few years ago. I'm going to focus today on US Bike Route 35. If you look at the map on the inside, you'll see there's a kind of I guess they call it a red dashed line that shows US Bike Route 35. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, it's at English Lake, comes straight south. And then it pretty much runs consistently with the other trail systems, including the American Discovery Trail, which is in light blue, US Bike Route, or excuse me, the Great American Rail Trail, which is in bold green, and the Erie Trail. They all pretty much run together. The way it works currently is that US Bike Route 35 going south and east breaks off and goes straight east on 800 south, and then it makes a right turn when it gets to 700 east. You see the dotted green line, that's the trail extension we're doing right now, so that when that's all completed, what will happen, what is that as it currently stands, US Bike Route 35, you go off on 800 South, then you turn on 700 East. What we're suggesting is to have it just stay with the Erie Trail, cross US 35. Right now, the crossing for US Bike Route 35, it's confusing because there's Highway 35 and US Bike Route 35, but the crossing for US Bike Route 35 on US Highway 35 is totally unmarked. It's recognized in a document that was approved locally in, I think, 2015. I wasn't around here then, so I'm not sure of the details. But this new route would be, it'd be the hypotenuse of the triangle, go in a straight line. It would use the new crossing we're going to have on US 35. The new crossing on US 35 is going to be marked. There's going to be signage. So that's one of the benefits. Another benefit is just a little shorter because you're going in a straight line instead of taking an angle. And then I guess the third benefit is we would take the US Bike Route 35 bike riders off of the county roads and put it on this combined road. I just kind of, as an anecdote, I'll throw this in. This is an image of a cross-country bike rider who was using various Trans-American routes, but through Starke County, she used US Bike Route 35. We just happened on her, or she happened on us while we were working on the extension, and she was doing that angle thing, and we pointed right where we were onto what would become US Bike Route 35 if you approve it. You said you just go in a straight line, you wouldn't go up, you don't have to make a turn. And she said that would be nice and it would be helpful and gets them off. I mean, a rider like this does ride a lot on share the road anyway, but they'd rather ride on non-motorized. Right. So I'd be happy to try to answer any questions.
So you're just wanting to basically rename that or?
Just relocate it.
Relocate it.
Actually, I didn't mention this. It's managed by NDOT and by AASHTO, and I've talked to them, and they need a resolution approving this move. We've talked about the merits of it. I think they think it's a good idea, but then I need to come to you and either directly, if you want to do it directly, or through your county highway superintendent, they need a resolution saying, yeah, you'd like to see it go forward.
Steve wrote a resolution, and I think you guys probably had a copy of that. If that meets your approval, you can put that on your letterhead and sign it, or have Dan sign it, however.
Right.
Can you send me an electronic copy of this? Can you send me an electronic copy of
memo?
that? Yeah, because then I can put it on their letterhead and.
Yeah, sure. Sure, we can do that.
I mean, everything looks okay on that. Approve it then. Who would need to sign that then? You. Us.
Either the president of the commissioners or the highway superintendent. If you guys are going to take it, then the
Yeah.
president would be appropriate.
This motion approved it.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'll get it on your letterhead, Charlie, and send it to you.
And we have first choice insurance, the health insurance renewal. Our first source insurance, sorry.
Morning. Morning. And also brought Jennifer from the difference card. So Debbie and I will present a little bit first, and then we'll let her do an introduction and show her what we'd like to offer.
All right.
Okay. We thought we'd try to keep it kind of simple for you guys today, just so we can go through it. But if you want to pull out just this sheet that's in your folder, to kind of look at see the rates. Our renewal at first came in at 23% with Cigna, and we've got that down to a 21%. And also they paid out in claims 1,880,787, and we paid a premium $1,037,000. So you can see that I put that down there at the bottom so you can see what it was. So far this year, we've paid out in our HRA 4,000. Last year, we roughly paid out about 14,000 altogether for the HRA. And Anthem's coming in. We did quote United Healthcare. They declined. We did quote PHP. They were uncompetitive. So this is pretty much the market. And Anthem, I do have the rates. I'm showing you a comparison plan. So if you look at Cigna and you look to the right, it matches our plan, so what they're offering as well. We have a little bit of difference where you can see down below with the RX, there's 2 tiers with their medications, but that's only if they use Walgreens. If they go to CVS, they get the better tier. These premiums are coming in at a 23.3% increase. The reason I brought Jennifer today, I wanted to introduce you to something new that we could try. It is similar to your HRA. All the other lines of coverage, except for the dental is a rate hold. Our dental is coming in with a 8% increase. If we offer a voluntary LTD long-term disability with the carrier, they bring that down to a 4% increase.
So we could just have a very minimal enrollment of the LTD to be able to receive that discount, just seeing if any employee, when it's voluntary like that, there's no contribution from the county, it would all be the employees, and just giving them an additional benefit if you wanted to offer that.
Anthem also is offering a one-time premium credit of $5,000 as well. And we were working with Cigna, we're trying to get some kind of premium credit as well with them.
The reason why we're showing 2 plans from Anthem, the one with the 2,000, we want you to see if we were just to match it. The strategy that we've come up with today that we want to talk to you about would be pairing it with a $6,000 plan. So we'd be technically looking right now at a 3.9% increase if we move to that $6,000 plan. And then if you don't mind, we're going to let Jennifer just introduce what the difference card is and how that would work. So Jennifer, will they pull out the first proposal?
Yes, the first one.
So on the opposite side of your folder, the first stapled packet.
And what the difference card does is similar to what you're doing today with that HRA, but we do it a little differently. And I'll explain kind of the nuances to the difference card compared to the HRA that you have today. You'll see on that first sheet, it shows your current fixed cost, which is the 1.6 million. Your renewal takes you up to 2,071,742. The revised fixed cost number, which is that decrease down to 6.5, is the cost to have that new plan that Debbie mentioned, that $6,000 plan for your employees, but you don't want your employees to experience a $6,000 plan. But that's what we'll buy from the carrier because we know that your employees aren't all meeting their $1,000 deductible today. In fact, only 11% of the population needs a $1,500 deductible across the country. So we know that you're buying an expensive plan from the carrier, but your employees aren't all accessing that rich plan. So we're gonna buy that less expensive plan from the carrier in this proposal, Anthem. And then you'll pay the difference card of per employee per month fee. And that's all baked into revised fixed costs. So that's your known cost. If no one ever goes over their deductible portion that they're responsible for, and no one gets into what the county's gonna pay for the remaining part of that deductible, that would be your fixed cost. But we know you're going to have claims, just like you do on the HRA. And our underwriter projects that to be $86,380. That's claims. The county would pay that. All my clients pay it out of a separate checking account. All those claims come out of there. And that gets you to the 1.811876 number or 11.9% increase. You could perform better. Like your HRA dollars are lower so far this year. Of course, we're not through the whole year, but I think you're at 5,000 this
Right.
year. Last year, you were at like 14,000. So you could perform better than the difference card anticipates you to perform. And if you do, that's your money. You keep that. We don't come in and take a portion of that. That would just be extra savings to the county. So that's this proposal. If you turn to the next page, it really shows what the employee's experience is. And without going through every line detail of this, it shows on the left-hand side your current Cigna benefits. In the middle is the plan that we would propose that you would buy from Anthem.
That's what's dropping your fixed costs down so far, is because you're buying that bigger deductible. And then on the right-hand side really shows the employee's experience to have Anthem with the difference card. You'll see there's the primary care physician copay today is $25, but the difference card is really gonna equal out to $15 for an employee. So they're gonna have a better benefit at a primary care physician's office. And the way in which that works is everyone would get a difference card, MasterCard, looks like this, it comes in their name. They would swipe that at a doctor's office and it would work for $20. So the doctor's office would ask them for that number in the middle, of $35 copay. They would swipe the card for 20 and they would pay 15 out of their pocket. They would only use this at the doctor's office. And the card's smart because it's funded by the county. We want to make sure that people aren't using this at Starbucks or
Right.
the gas station. So it won't work where it's not supposed to, and it will only work for the amount that it's supposed to. So we're gonna protect those funds for you. But that's the way we keep the employees' benefits the same at primary care and specialty. Because that's one of the unintended consequences when you buy a bigger deductible plan, is the copays change. So we're keeping them the same. The employee's gonna be responsible for the first $1,000 of the deductible. If they go over that, the county would fund that next $5,000 for them, if they go over. And the individual's max out of pocket would be $3,700, and today it's $4,000. So better benefit for the employees, gonna help you reduce your fixed cost. And the other nice thing about this is the way in which it works with the deductible is, if an employee meets that 1,000 of their deductible, Anthem submits all those electronic EOBs or explanation of benefits to us. We process it automatically and we pay the provider on their behalf. So, yeah, so you're not sending the money to the employee and then having them pay the doctor. We're doing that on their behalf. So it's very seamless behind the scenes. It works really well with Anthem. A lot of clients on that explanation of benefits.
And we could even look at it, not even to do the swipe card, we could just change our co-pays, which they would increase from 25 to 35, and then from a specialist from 40 to 60.
Yeah, because that would be my concern with it being a MasterCard, especially with what I'm used to, more of the health savings accounts,
Right.
which is something I'd like to move to at some point. Because they're a lot easier to use. They're a lot simpler to figure out and understand from an end user point of view.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
But this does seem like a good maybe bridge to something like that, especially given how little the HRA funds are being utilized.
Right. Yeah.
With our health savings account, though, we would need to fund a little bit of employees' money.
Right.
Yeah,
There would be big
Right.
changes, and that's why I'm not looking to do that this
you
year,
do
but
shop it when you have an HSA. I mean, you're shopping your medications, your MRIs, and
Yes.
everything. Yeah,
yeah,
we have it.
I know it's an experience that I enjoy better than what we've seen this year out of Cigna.
So as Debbie mentioned, if you took the card out, that's a little more savings to you. It's not gonna be a lot, because there's probably not gonna be a lot of card swipes, but we could take that out and then everything would just be seamless with those explanations of benefits from Anthem to us. We process the claim, then we would draw out any of those funds from your checking account, probably like you do with the HRA today. That's how that would work.
Because the debit card would be, just like you go and you use your debit card, it's instantly out of the account,
Yeah, I equate this when I'm training employees about how to use this. Again, you don't have to have this. A lot of my groups will just move to the difference card and don't use the card. But if we're trying to keep the benefits the same, we can, and I equate it to a gift card. They ask you for $35 at the doctor's office, you have them swipe it for 20, they pay out of their pocket, and everybody understands how to use a gift card. But again, that's totally up to you if you think it's just an extra training and education that will do to the employees.
So if we don't use the card though, our copays are gonna be going up to 35 and 60.
They would, right, and there's nothing that we can do on our end without the card swipe to have your employees at least have the same copays, if not better. So that it would get better at primary care, it would be $15.
because the Anthem's plans are just all set.
Yes. Now, keep in mind, the cards that would be issued for the employees will tell them exactly. Jennifer just doesn't have a
Yes.
sticker on hers, but it would say when you're at your primary care, the amount that they'll swipe is 15. So it is very right, you wouldn't forget the amount, and it's a very nice reminder to have there. And it looks like we would just have it for 2 doctor's offices. Yeah, that's the only place they would use that, a physician's office. If they forget, so my husband's actually been guilty of that. You can submit that later and get reimbursed, an employee could. And we have several ways that they can do that. We have an educational package in here too, what the employee will receive from the difference card. And it shows if you forget to swipe your card, take a picture of it with your phone, or you can even mail it in. So there are ways to
You
get
look
that.
skeptical over there.
No, I don't want my copays going up, so I say we use a card.
And I'm sure that's how the employees felt.
Yeah, I'm sure too.
So this option is without what we call our guarantee. So we project your claims to be at that 86,380
Mhm.
amount. But we have another product that has protection on that. So you could say, well, what if our claims are going to be more than that? What happens? Does the county just have to pay those extra claims that go above and beyond? And you would. That second exhibit that we have in here basically adds in our guaranteed protection. But you know, Debbie, Holly, and I have talked about this. While this makes you feel safe because you have a safety net on your claims, we're saying we still expect you to be at the 86,380. Worst case scenario is down at the bottom where it says the guarantee, your max claims would be 198,666. So if you would go over that, the difference card would pay any of those claims over that. That's a big number in your guarantee, and you're paying a lot to have us guarantee it. I think when we talked about it, what we suggested was, because we kind of know where your claims are with that HRA, that would just be added expense to you, but we wanted to show it to you as an option because we do have that product that limits your claims liability.
Just knowing our history of HRA use, I don't think we need it.
Right, okay.
That's recommended.
And we are using this on other clients right now.
Mhm.
And one of them's in 1,500, a life group that is a manufacturer.
I do have some references in the back of the folder if you'd like to call any of them to see how their experience has been. And then can we real briefly just go through the type of education that we're able to show the employees?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is
Can I
the
ask
packet.
a question real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, if it- maybe the one big thing that jumps out at me in this is the out of network is really goes up now. And that maybe isn't a big deal, or maybe it is. It is, do you have data on, you know, what the impact that's going to be? How much, how much out of Anthem's network is there? Is
There's
the
only
first question.
96% of all the hospitals in the whole nation are in the network.
Okay.
And it's like 97% of all physicians are in United Health, Anthem's network. So you got Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So you travel to Illinois, you go into the Blues there, no
What
matter where
about
you travel.
what about the providers in the county? How many of them are?
I researched it.
Oh,
They're all.
but
Anthem.
They're all in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Actually, we have more coverage. We would have more coverage with
Mhm.
Anthem than we do Cigna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
If their
All right.
network's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I always say you have
That's-
to
that
try
answers me.
hard
That's
to
what I
figure out
thought.
Anthem's network than to go in. because
Yeah.
it's
I
so
know.
broad. And none of my groups fund out of network in Indiana because of that, but you could, the county could say, if you don't want your employees to have that kind of deductible out of network, we could fund it, but I just
No,
don't see it in Indiana.
given that everybody local is in network, if that's accurate, there shouldn't be a need because, you know, most of us are sticking around here and,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's not a concern if we're switching things on them and then suddenly they like to go to is not
Right.
network, and I don't see that as being a
No,
problem.
you've got all the Indianapolis hospitals and.
I think that was one of our troubles with Cigna.
Right,
Yeah, it's more of a limited network than.
Yeah.
and your employees will probably get deeper discounts on the Anthem network
Anthem
as
has the
well.
largest network discount, so the claim will get reduced lower, which helps us as well as.
Which is big, especially when it comes to the prescriptions.
Prescriptions are outside everywhere you go right now.
Yeah.
So we try to keep it very simple for education. This packet shows how we educate employees. We have this figure Danny who is on our website and all of our marketing material. But we try to keep it simple with the summary benefits, just to say, here's your Anthem benefits, here's how much the difference card pays, and here's what you pay. So very simple, and especially with that, again, that explanation of benefits file feed that comes to us directly from Anthem. Because of your partnership with First Source allows you to be on that feed.
Otherwise, your employees would be submitting their explanations of benefits to us. So training's easy. It's this kit.
I think it's really nice, just looking at this here, it just shows you the two spots here, like how that sticker would be on the card showing when they would swipe that. Otherwise, we would have that feed set up seamless, so they would know those deductibles would just go over by themselves.
And then the rest is just some cartoon strips to show how to swipe your card at the doctor's office and then how to get help with your medical bills. Again, that's seamless. And then the next page explains that process of an explanation of benefits. First, the bill goes from the provider to the carrier and then to us. That shows that. We have tools, we have a website, employees can set up their own member portal where they can see the claims. We want them to be engaged, even though everything's happening behind the scenes. So they'll have a member portal. They can also download our mobile app and they'll see their claims there. They'll know when we received it and when we processed, and we process claims fast. So we process claims in 2 days. So they'll be able to watch that process and know when their provider's been paid. They can always call our customer care team, and I'm proud of them. They answer the phone in less than 30 seconds. And I tell employees, call us first because we know what your anthem benefits are. We know how much the county's paying towards those, so they can answer those questions fully at our customer care center. And then that last page just talks about if you forget to swipe your card, we would typically pay an employee if they forget to swipe their card by a paper check, but they can sign up for direct deposit too. And the other thing I've been doing is recording a PowerPoint presentation and turning it into a YouTube video. That way, if you have new employees or someone comes onto the plan, it's me explaining and educating them on how to use the difference card. And then that way they can also share it with folks at home. So if there's somebody at home that's going to use the benefits, they would also know how to use this and how it's working as well.
Does anyone have any questions on how that works, or?
It's just a fancy, really HRA. So you're doing that today. The one thing I didn't mention is today you, as the county, have to pay all those HRA dollars. But the difference card, this is important. You'll pay Anthem, you'll pay the difference card of per employee per month fee, and then you'll fund those claims. But we can take those dollar amounts and roll those all together and publish these premium equivalent rates that are down in the right-hand corner of this document right here. So these rates you can use to set your contributions, and the employees are now helping to pay the cost to have Anthem, the cost to have the difference card administer it, and the claims. That's all rolled into there. So it's not just the county's dollars paying for the claims. That's the biggest difference between the HRA and what we do.
And all three of those figures that she discussed are already in our final numbers.
Yes, everything's there. So there's nothing that the county's gonna pay for that the employees aren't going to help pay for in their contributions.
Which one do you guys want to go with?
I like the Anthem option with the difference card. You know, it's coming in at just under 4% increase. That one do.
Is there a motion on that?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Okay, we'll start the paperwork. What about the dental?
Do we want to offer the long-term disability? It would just be an additional field that's offered on the enrollment system. So we just need to let the dental carrier know if they should add that with the build or not. What we would do is we would just check to see if we got the enrollment needed. If the enrollment needed isn't there, then, you know, we tried, but there's no contribution or anything on the county's
All
part.
right, it all be voluntary.
But it does need to have a certain level of enrollment.
I believe we have to have 5.
Oh, that's it? Okay, yeah.
So we'll keep it to 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I believe we're charging our employees the poverty rate levels right now.
So for the affordability factor, right now we have, you know, there are 3 safe harbors that could be followed, and that is the one that we've always currently followed.
So can we please still follow that?
Yes.
Okay, there has been a slight shift in the percentage for that.
Okay.
So we'll come up with together a calculation to make sure that we offer our lowest base rate at that.
And I mean, you see the increases.
Uh-huh.
We don't charge our employees anything for vision right now. Do you want to keep it that way, or do you want to start charging them something? I mean, that is an option to help with
What's
costs.
it been in the past few years?
It's been free. We don't charge the
Free.
employees.
So
Let's-
it's not very much money, but you know, everything adds up.
Right.
We were just wondering if people are enrolled in it and don't even have a
Let's-
desire for it because it's bundled in. And those could be dollars saved if they're not even using it.
I would say, I'm in favor of keeping it free because that's an easier incentive to retain people than bumping up their hourly wage.
That's it.
Okay, so we're gonna keep the way that it is, but we are gonna add the LTV, is that correct?
Yes.
Just to see if we can obtain that lower,
Yes.
okay, okay.
And then we'll work with Rachel and then we'll get the paperwork together that we need to be signed.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Now, on our
Thanks, Debbie.
agenda,
Have a good day.
we have the continued discussion of the rezone for the Redland property. I know there's quite a few folks here for that. I don't know if anybody has any comments they'd like to make about it.
There was an update to the petition. So now we're looking at that parcel and this parcel, not these anymore.
Is there someone here on behalf? I know Mr. Shellman couldn't make
Yeah.
it. And could you introduce yourself, sir?
I'm
Appreciate
Patrick Fagan. I work with Chris
Chris Shellman.
Shellman, the attorney that was here last week on behalf of, last month on behalf of the developer. And yeah, I just want to find the update to our application. We took out the two furthest north parcels along 35. So today we're only requesting the rezoning of the two further south ones. We thought that would help alleviate some of the major concerns from last month as far as visibility from the Bass Lake properties and the possibility for development along 35.
Gonna eliminate development on third phone?
No, it's gonna allow the parcels along 35, the northern ones, to remain zoned for business. So future
But
development.
nothing on the lake side of 35 is going to, you're not even talking about rezoning it at all?
We were not,
So
yeah,
you're
we weren't
leaving-
entertaining that on the lake side of 35 to begin with.
I got you.
But I just wanted to be clear. The parcel on the south side of 35, right there where the cursor is that,
That's been removed from this request.
Right, that's the one.
That
that's
just got
removed.
removed.
Yes.
Yeah, right, just for today's meeting.
And this one.
And that's not going to be rezoned either.
No,
It's not going to go to agricultural.
the only ones we're looking at to rezone, is that square that's highlighted? No. Yeah,
That one.
that square that's highlighted now on the screen and the one next to it. Those two that she's just clicked back and forth on.
It's pretty close to that residential area over there. I don't know if anybody represents that particular area. You might have some complaints about that. For sure, we can. So much.
How far we are from the West Lake?
What was the question?
What is that?
How far is it from Bass Lake? It's about a half mile.
Almost a half mile.
Originally, when you were talking about maybe a quarter mile, it seems that you backed it up and you look more like a half a mile.
Yeah.
It's about that.
That would be the West Lake, right?
Yeah, it's about.
Is this land, once it becomes agricultural, obviously, we're probably looking towards solar farm area. That could be part of the Durrell thing, or is it a
Yes.
separate one?
That's.
Understood that it'd be
What you
Durrell?
do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
And that's stated on the petition there that they're making the request for purposes.
So Marty,
to
is
solar.
this amendment, this change, we got all the. Everything in a row, this doesn't need to go up for more discussion, you know.
Well, taking out isn't going to require that they go back for an additional hearing, in my opinion. If they added something, then they would have to, but they
Right.
can remove, they can just, amend their petition down. And I would also add that they say that they're continuing to negotiate. They don't have an answer yet, but they are continuing to negotiate with the person that has it's starting the wedding
Yeah, by the
facility.
pond there.
To address that, although this in part addresses that concern. Am I correct in all that?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I just thought that's full disclosure, because that's what Chris had told me in our conversation on Friday.
They're happy to work with neighbors as far as natural screening, trees. They're required to do screening along 35. And they're happy to negotiate for others that are interested.
Mr. Lucas, I just wanted to point out that I was available to pop here on the phone electronically if there's any specific questions. Patrick is correct that we are still doing all of the required screening along 35 and along the panels, where they'd be placed on this southern portion. But we are going to work with the neighbors to the north and provide them some additional screening trees and whatnot on their property. Just the particulars aren't yet finalized.
Do we have a conversation about setbacks? I think you and I had spoken about whether it's from the easement or from the center of the road, or you know what I'm talking about, Marty?
I do, and I don't know the number right offhand. Chris, do you know the number of the setback from the roads for the panels? There's setback. It's 250 feet from the foundation of a.
I think it's 100 feet. I think it's 100 feet.
Is that from the center line or from the right of way line?
Because part of this is still going to be along 35. I just want to get a more exact idea of how far back off of 35 things will be.
Bo, do you have that answer?
Well, I can tell you that on the north side, it'll be at least 300 feet and upwards of 600 feet as you go farther to the west. But along the east side, down by the Melody Drive-In, it would probably be that 150, around that 150 foot range. Once you get your screening, fencing, and then further setback for drives and functional.
I'm just trying to figure out where we start measuring that 150 feet from.
Sure.
From the edge of the road or from the edge of NDOT's easement for 35,
And I don't have that ordinance up directly in front of me. I probably center of the road, but if that's something that we could certainly talk about. I know that would get finalized in the review technical committee.
Okay.
The zoning ordinance here, it's 100 feet from the center of the road.
From the center, okay.
It's not very far.
No, I mean, yeah, we're talking 5, half a dozen to a dozen feet difference, but I still like to know.
We do have some additional time, of course. You have that, there's 90 days before it takes effect automatically. So, you don't have to decide today. I think we're probably into it about 30 days at this point, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And after 90 days, it becomes effective if nothing's happened.
Right, it no longer can be, they can reject it before that, but after that, it's just, a failure to act is an approval, since this is based on an approval essentially by the zoning, the plan commission.
I think I've made it clear that I'm okay with things being.
Make a comment. I think one priority should be the protection of Bass Lake. It is such a draw to Starke County. And I think we should do everything we can to protect it as a recreational area. And solar farms, if you drive by them, they aren't pretty. There's nothing attractive about a solar farm. And so I think whatever we do, we want to protect and make sure that people aren't saying this is a solar farm. Here they're thinking about Bass Lake. Bass Lake contributes many tax dollars to Starke County. And it doesn't seem like it's being considered.
And I am on the exact same page. That's why I wasn't in support of anything being changed between 35 and 210.
Thank you.
And so far, this doesn't fall into that.
I would just like to make a statement that personally, I don't see anything that's particularly unattractive about a solar farm. Personally, where I live, solar panels make pretty good neighbors. You don't have barking dogs, you don't have children running across you don't have smoke from somebody's garbage or if there's things like.
I will say from personal experience, I think a solar farm would be much preferable to the hog farm I'm an eighth of a mile away from.
There's nothing attractive about it. For a beautiful recreational area, for a natural lake in Indiana, to put a solar farm that close. I mean, to me, it seems like we should protect as much of the natural environment around a lake, a natural lake like that. That's what draws people. And you may like the looks of a solar farm, but we've driven down many roads where we see them, and it is not attractive to us. You know, dogs aren't barking, and we don't have hogs that are smelling and everything, but they are not attractive. It's industrial, not for a resort area.
Yes. Yeah, Rich Lincoln, I know that this new meeting is about rezoning on these properties, but I do want to follow along with what Lynn has to say about it. And that's, you know, right now, it appears that there's three sections of Bass Lake, and this is the southern section. We already have the east side of it, where Durrell has got a 13,000, of course, it's well beyond the lake where it's going to stretch. And now we're talking about the west side of the southern area. What about the whole west side, the northwest side, the north side, the northeast side? What's going to stop anybody from rezoning, looking for rezoning? And before you know it, and I know I'm going well beyond the pale here, but encircling the lake and solar farm. You understand what I'm saying? What provisions can you make as a board for Starke County to make sure that that thing doesn't happen?
I know that's one of the issues I brought up with Marty a few days ago. You know, we may have to limit how many can come into the county eventually, because I don't want the county overrun.
Exactly. I said that to you at the last meeting. I said, you guys have got to decide how many solar farms. And the other, one more thing too. I would hope, I'm just one person here, but I think I speak for a lot of people, that Starke County does not allow any wind farms to come in. And the reason I say that is not only because they're not as friendly as a solar farm, but they hurt the migratory birds. And we have, you know, we've got the Kankakee, the Yellow River, we've got Bass Lake. There's that area where the sand cranes roost, and if you go out there, I guess about this time of the year or a little bit later, there's like 20,000 of them stay there before they head south. I see them in the spring going right over Bass Lake. And if we had windmills, I think that would be a big problem. So I would hope you would take that into consideration and write that into some law that no wind farms.
There is a wind ordinance in place that does not allow wind farms.
Right. There is, okay.
It's not that it doesn't allow, but it's structured such that they're not gonna come in.
Right. So I mean, it's like two things, and certainly the no wind farms, and the other thing is somehow protect the lake, and I'm talking Coons Lake too, it's another resort area. Have a provision of, from now on, nobody can go within X amount of miles of these resort areas. We need protection.
Yes.
It is a resort. I think people lose the sight of that.
Yeah.
Starke County got the money from the West Lake area.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are-
There's houses over
Like
there.
probably pays pretty good taxes. That.
There are 3 new homes going up south of us.
Yeah.
And I think if those people who had invested in those homes and are going to be paying a lot of taxes in Starke County knew about this before they bought the property and started building, I doubt if any of them would be building.
We don't know that, but that's a possibility.
One thing I'd like to point out briefly, if I may, is that this property is set back quite a long way. As the commissioner mentioned, this is south of 35 in that section, and we've even provided an additional 23 acres that will remain business zoning. Currently, the ground we're discussing is in row crop production. It is in that use, but it's commercial zoning at the moment. There's storage units that were just built, you know, catty corner to the property. Other businesses could go and be built on this site. A 23 acre of business development as a reserve, even just south of 35, not just north of it, there is a significant amount of commercial development for this area. People along the lake won't notice it. And in addition, let's talk about this buffering that will be in place. Currently, it's being designed by RES, a national environmental firm. This isn't just a couple of, half dead trees that are going to be placed randomly. It's a significant, and quite frankly, massive buffering that's being designed to actually become an environmental attribute to the area, increase the biodiversity. And ultimately, I think it will be attractive and will provide the screening. We can, accomplish both of those goals simultaneously.
I think the storage units are ugly. I'd rather look
I
at
do
a solar
too.
park than the storage
Yeah.
units myself.
Storage units are terrible. I mean, I just see storage units, solar
That's
farm,
right next to
and then
the lake.
there's Bass Lake. And I just think
Yeah. I think
the investments out there.
And
people
in the
are-
meantime, we lose the beauty
Uh-huh.
and the animals. I don't care when somebody says, no, we don't. You're full of it, because I know it changes the pattern of the animals. And maybe you don't care, but I do.
I'd like to make one more comment. The fact that it displaces agriculture is really a good thing for the environment and for the residents. There's a lot of chemicals put on agricultural farms. The bee population has really been hurt in this country. That primarily comes from chemicals on agricultural farms. And, the noise, the dust, and the other inconvenience. Where I live right near the lake. There was one farm that had potatoes this year, and several times they put fungicide on it. The crop duster goes right over my house and right over again and again and again till he finishes that field. Well, that's not gonna happen again. That particular farm's going into solar panels. So
Well, some of the specs on the solar panel, who's inspecting those? It's they're coming from the Far East,
Electromagnetic radiation waves coming.
and they could leak
Nobody's
lead.
talking about.
That's totally untrue.
That's what the internet says.
That's totally untrue.
All right, well,
It's not something we want to put there.
Shirley.
we kind of gotta make a decision here.
I mean, obviously, just to reiterate, the decision before you is whether to, at this time, and all these things are highly relevant, of course, but to this issue, it's strictly the rezoning of the parcel that's left in this request from commercial to agricultural.
I feel like we should not rezone any of it right now.
Agree. Yes.
Brian? Thoughts? It's moving awful fast. We really don't know what this is all about. We never will until we see some of it in action, and we got 2 other solar farms coming up north, same here. Somewhere we gotta slow down and see what's gonna happen.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And wait and look and see where they have put them and see what it has done to the communities. We live in Kokomo. And out east of us, we've seen all kinds of solar farms. We know what the people think who live near them. And they're not just quiet either. There is noise from solar farms.
I'd like to point out that these 2 parcels are contiguous to the existing project. The Doral project is, in full swing, and this really rounds out that request. It ultimately has nothing to do with the other proposed projects who aren't as further along, and that this isn't, expanding it, but rather filling in the existing project that's going to exist.
Originally, it's just another comment, because we don't know the future of these. We really don't know 20 to 25 years from now what's going to happen. But the other thing is, Bass Lake, if you've ever watched the rain patterns that have been coming through there, Bass Lake has a hard time getting rain. I don't know why, but it does. But this solar farm, and especially if you move it over further, the prevailing winds generally come out of the west-southwest. These create a heat shield. There's no doubt that there is heat above these things.
They do not.
It goes
that's
5 to
false.
7 degrees. You will find it above there. Now, here's the deal. At night, that dissipates because they're not operating. And if there's enough of a wind, that will dissipate it as well. But what would it do? We don't really know the long-term effects of the rain patterns from this. Now, the Doral to the southeast is a done deal. We know that, right?
This is part of that project.
But this part here, we still have an opportunity to reflect on it. If you say we do not approve it now, but you watch and see what happens, watch the rain patterns and things like that too. Take a year, take 2 years to sit back and watch it. There's nothing saying you couldn't come back and do this again somewhere down the road. So like you were saying, maybe we're just moving too fast. So maybe we should not approve that. And this is certainly your job, not mine.
And I would note that construction on the project needs to be done, simultaneously in a project of this scale. Mobilization is very important, and is already a part of, the design that has been reviewed and is currently being reviewed by the technical review committee.
Can I ask a question? It was brought up, the voice of those who pay taxes. What is the largest tax revenue coming into our county presently? Or who brings in the largest?
City of Knox?
Yeah.
I mean, what industry or
Norton packaging and Hamlet.
how about agriculture?
Is that more so than agriculture in this county?
Well, they told us at the last meeting, ag brings in the most tax revenue.
Our actual tax revenue will increase. It will increase over the ag. The ag revenue will remain the same. However, there'll be additional tax revenues for personal property, which will increase the revenue for the county.
Actually, I want to correct that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I want to correct that. I'm sorry, I don't believe that's correct under the assessment of the base assessment for ag land is about $1,600, I believe, per acre. And the base assessment for these areas by statute currently for areas in which a solar array is installed is something north of 11,000. So it is, at least 9 times as much real property assessment value as what would be with row crop agriculture.
What about the tax abatement you are probably?
There's no tax abatement there is zero tax abatement on the real estate. The personal property has 100% tax abatement, but it pays $3,500, I believe is the figure, per megawatt hour per year, which would generate about $1 million
Correct.
per year for this project, not counting the real property tax. So there's substantial tax income to be generated from that.
How much tax does Bass Lake contribute to the total budget?
23%.
Are they
23%.
23%?
I think we have enough discussion on it.
Jesse?
Yes, Larry.
I'm a farmer from Starke County. I've lived here all my life. And right now, we're dealing with a proposed solar project in Railroad Township. I am very for that because I have heard complaints. I have fielded complaints about my irrigation systems. I have fielded complaints about what Mr. Rickard said, noise from airplanes waking me up on a Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Where are they coming from? They're spraying fungicide on my corn. I just fielded all kinds of complaints over the years of my 40 years of farming in this county. And I look at these solar projects as just the opportunity of a lifetime for poor Starke County. I mean, we're a county that struggles for money, for economic development. We just don't have it here like Marion County or all these counties down south. And I personally I am the owner and operator of a 3/4 acre solar farm on my personal farm. I live around it. I farm around it. I'm there 18 hours a day. And I have had the previous commissioner or commissioners, anybody come out there before I put that up, because I had to determine boundaries for my solar project from State Road 10. And I wanted to do it legal. And we had those things in this county. I think it was 75 feet before I could ever build my project. And I have yet, in 3.5 years of owning and operating this project, have yet to field a complaint on my quiet, very publicly visible to everybody along a busy state road. I have no complaints. I have no arguments from neighbors. It's one of the few things that I've done in this county and not fielded
negativity coming towards my farm. We talk about the Green New Deal. I mean, we all know we have problems. We need to change things that we do. I farm 7,000 acres of corn and soybeans. 90% of what I produce on my farm goes into biodiesel production to burn in our vehicles, or it goes into ethanol production, which is your ethanol that you add to your gasoline, and you burn that in your vehicles. Now I finally have a chance as agribusiness, as a farmer, where I can take my private property that I've worked for and worked on all my life, and I can take and harvest what God put here. You know, He made the heavens and He made the earth. He made the sunlight. I can take that directly coming into my panels, and I can produce energy that everybody in the state of Indiana or the United States can use. It's going to be put directly into the grid, as my 3/4 acre privately owned panel farm is doing right now. It's just like a no-brainer to me, even though I'm going to lose hundreds of acres of corn and soybean production. This is going to be direct production of energy for the use of all of us. And it's going to be clean. There's going to be no pollution.
People around us blame NIPSCO for it not raining.
And I don't think people are complaining about it not being clean, that solar isn't effective.
Exactly.
It
That's
does the
not our
job it's
issue.
supposed to do. What we're concerned about is location of these solar panels in a natural recreational area at Bass Lake, where so many people have invested in homes and have lived there for years. And that would, when we drive around any place in the state, any place, and we see solar panels and fields, it's just downright ugly. We want to keep Bass Lake a beautiful community.
Yes.
We want to do things to keep it natural, a recreational area that is a natural area. The storage buildings were horrible. I put my hand up like that when I go by them. I mean, that wasn't anything that made the area, nicer.
If you put that map back up there, I would suggest, they've already taken those northern fields off. I mean, you won't even know there's panels from the north. Along 35, if you just put a little wider buffer, and it would be, there's going to be vegetation between there that's going to grow out. And I think that would be it. Here's the thing, once these guys do this project, if this property isn't included, they're not going to add it. I mean, it's going to be done. And that one would never get put in, to my understanding, and Chris could probably answer that. But they're along 35 along the curve, maybe just move that one in, but up across the north, that's been pulled way off of the road already. And allow them to have that included and kind of fill in their, they got some empty spots. I just think that would make the most sense to work with these folks.
If we don't see it, and people who are driving through the area don't see that, if it doesn't hit them in the face, solar farm, you're right, if it's off, but you don't see it.
It's a little more tolerable.
It's still only a half mile away.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the amended application for changing zoning as presented.
So, there's no second on that motion. Or a motion to not rezone these properties. Okay. I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve the payroll claims in the amount of $250,521.26.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can you explain what that last motion you passed means?
We rejected
Whispering
we rejected the rezoning.
of the whole big portion, not just those two parts, just the two parts.
Everything that was requested has been
In the
rejected.
Redland request.
Thank you.
It's 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm ahead for once. I was in the house. I was so far off. It's like, look at my computer, it usually knows.
Is there a motion to approve the vendor claims in the amount of $664,342.13?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, so you wouldn't. vote.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from Monday, October 4th, 2021?
So moved.
Second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we have the EMS director position we have to fill. We had 3 applicants. They were all well qualified, I thought.
One didn't meet the job posting though.
Right.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, if you wanted to choose him, you would just have to
Right,
repost the
right.
position.
One that showed up is it's a qualification. Let's see that.
You weren't here, but do you have any
No,
opinions?
yeah, I did study the, I have to talk to Travis. Jeff Hamilton was good, but he doesn't want to leave LaPorte County. He wants to try to do both. There's no way you can
What?
do both.
That's not Jeff Hamilton.
No, it's not folded over here.
No, it's very good. I got told over Travis. Yeah, but anyway, he does not want to leave LaPorte at the same time. He wants to try to do both. And there's no way with all the hours. Other than that, I have no objection to him.
Actually, from here.
Well, the one I kind of looking at, it's pretty good. You know, there's from Chesterton, there's Zachary Higgins. I don't know what you fellows decided.
I think Eric would. So.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, this is another one of those that isn't an easy decision.
Right,
So
right.
Eric Wood is full-time at LaPorte and he wants to keep that job.
I don't know.
I wish Travis was still here.
I can see if he's in his room.
Would you guys like to speak with Travis about that? That's the only thing I got.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, he works. Starke
It
County
says not
EMS
leaving. If
current,
you even look at it, it
LaPorte
says not leaving.
County EMS the current.
Travis is really good.
Well, he's gonna have to make, you know, he's gonna have to.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if we choose him, he'll either figure it out or if you can't, we'll be looking again.
Yeah. So there's two.
So, yeah, I would make the motion to hire Eric Wood for EMS director.
Second.
I mean, oh, it's just that one part.
Yeah. So we have motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Oh,
a little behind, I guess.
You're too late, Travis.
yeah, we decided, and then you walked in.
Fair enough. A little traffic.
Then we have an amendment to the employee handbook.
So we're just, we just went through our audit. State Board of Accounts noticed that what we're practicing is not what the handbook says.
Oh,
So
what are we, what does the handbook say? And
So we are, and I mean, I can attest to the fact that we've been doing this at least back to 2014 when I started payroll at the highway department. But when you are calculating overtime, you do include vacation or sick time taken. So for example, if employee works Monday through Friday, Monday was a vacation day, but then they had to come in on Saturday, they still get overtime for Saturday. So you include the vacation or sick time taken or holiday time
yeah,
in the overtime.
that's what we're doing, or is that?
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
But our handbook says we don't include
Okay.
that.
And
And
this,
then,
and this is just to reflect what we're
Yeah, it
doing. and
brings the
what-
handbook
and the
into-
State Board of Accounts recommendations.
and then also what we're doing, but we're not, our handbook says otherwise, is the overtime rate is based on longevity as well, not just their base pay.
Well, I thought that one was probably kind of actually applied. I thought that was just a clarification more than an amendment, honestly. But the other one's clearly an amendment,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I mean, I don't, it doesn't say, if you see what I'm saying, the second one's a clarification that person's overtime pay is based on their actual pay,
Yeah,
right? Of course it is.
yeah.
But it didn't say that before, but now it says that. So
Okay.
that I don't really think we'd have to do that, but there's no harm in it.
So, okay, how does longevity affect it? Because it's, from the way I'm reading it, it's just time and a half.
Time and a half or whatever they get paid. So
Right.
if you see what I'm saying, I don't think this, that, I have to sort of disagree.
Their
with-
base pay is, if anything is affected by
That's-
longevity, it would be their base pay, and that's set by salary ordinance.
Yeah.
Right.
The State Board of Accounts wants clarification in our policy that their overtime rate includes their base pay and longevity.
Which, like I say, I thought that was just implied, but I don't have a problem putting it in there, right?
Okay.
It doesn't hurt anything, right?
Okay.
But you see, I think you're
It's only
reacting
there-
to it the same way
It's
I
only there
did.
because they want it there, and it really doesn't affect anything.
But the other one does, the
Yeah,
other one
okay.
does, the policy, the actual policy and
Policy, yeah.
practice was a little different than what it said in the handbook. And so this would make it, you could go the other way, but, if you see what I'm saying,
Yeah. The other way is,
is that you could change the policy if it was in the handbook and it wouldn't
Yeah.
be illegal, right?
yeah, I think we're already doing it that way, and that's what everybody's used to.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes, sir.
logical approach, I would agree.
On this mistake that you made, you're going to approve what's been paid to those employees?
It's not
No,
a mistake.
Or are you going to go and ask for the money back from the employees?
no, there's no corrections that have to be made.
It's just
Well, you paid out something that you shouldn't have, according to what you said. I think.
no, the handbook,
It's,
the handbook just is a misstatement of the policy,
Yeah.
that's all. The policy was consistent.
this isn't correcting a mistake, it's more fixing a typo.
Yeah.
And I'll make the motion to approve the change to the employee handbook as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Did I give you one to sign or?
No, you took it.
Okay.
I had the real one, and then you gave me the copy one.
You want the official one.
And there's 2 pages too, of course.
Yeah.
And also I have updated the handbook, and I just would suggest that, I mean, this maybe isn't necessary, but if there's a simple way to give notice to everybody that there's,
Update to the handbook.
yeah, and then, and also make sure that it gets, actually gets posted and replaced, that there's not an old copy still hanging out there on our website. I sent you the PDF, I would guess.
Then we have certificate sale resolution.
Those are all the properties except for the two that you guys wanted to keep, have been wanting for a while,
Right.
that are gonna go on the certificate sale.
The ones you marked out were or which ones are the ones that we wanted?
They're not on there.
Oh, okay. You took them off.
Yeah. So that's just saying that you do want to put the properties that didn't sell at the tax sale on the certificate sale, and it'd be like beginning of March, end of February-ish.
Yeah. It's basically just a simple motion of proof that we do it every year, I guess.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Buying lunch today, Rick?
I sent in the email that Mark was, I don't know if you guys didn't catch that or what.
You're mumbling over there. I can't hear.
She said she was buying lunch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not what it said.
Then we have Mark Wilson here.
It's a neat one.
Makes sense.
Still going or whatever.
That's an awful big coaster.
700 south over Bogus Run. No, that's not, sorry, that's the other.
Yellow
one.
River.
It's Yellow River, 1200 east.
Over Yellow River.
That's what it says here.
I need this approved and also the notice to person approved.
Are we widening it?
Yeah, I think it's getting better.
This is a piece of date. And the signature page on. page 17.
They already signed that one. They just need to formally approve it.
Make motion to approve the contract for the land acquisition services.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to.
Take that motion.
It's going back.
What?
What?
Yeah, the notice to proceed goes with the whole project
okay.
as well.
So,
Okay, we don't need a
All
motion
done.
on that.
we don't, yeah, it's all in one motion, good to go, just sign it.
Yeah, you guys just need to sign that. There's 2 copies here.
Sign a date. I need to take this to Amanda.
It's still the 18th.
So far, we're getting closer though. Night. Oh, man.
Oh, this was actually not as bad as I had feared. We're done by noon.
Well, asking for the kids to hear because we're about to go to the final place. And then it's.
Are you buying lunch today, Jeff?
I can, I've got money. Where you heading? Carmel?
Wherever you buy.
Carmel.
Keystone. I'm heading to Keystone.
Oh.
Is that the Sheridan down there?
Yes.
I got an excellent pizzeria in Carmel.
Yeah, that's true.
holiday schedule. That's it, I think. Public comment.
Thank you for touching on this. Then we gotta go, real quick to the holiday schedule.
Yeah, it's, well, actually, there's, I mean, now it looks exactly what the state's doing.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah. we might tighten off that.
Yeah. It initially put that on there.
Yeah.
But since it wasn't on there, I thought, why bother?
I didn't know if you guys wanted it on there or not.
If somebody makes an issue out of it, we can
Yeah.
amend it later, but I don't see that happening.
So is there a motion to approve the holiday schedule?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Jeff Berg.
Okay. So everybody had the information there, real quickly. The Northwest Indiana Community Action is an agency, you know, that they help for seniors and families, information and assistance. And they work out of Lake, Porter, LaPorte, Newton, Jasper, and Starke counties. And they're not the only agency here, of course, you know, we have community on agency here as well. But Melissa Bohatchik, she's a CCAP Vice President of Communications and Outreach. And she reached out to me and stated that they need a public representative to sit on the board of directors for Starke County. So they have board of directors, and I'm pretty busy right now. I told her I'm pretty busy. As a matter of fact, there's probably a conflict because they've been meeting virtually on the 4th Tuesday of the month. That's when we have a city council meeting. So I'm just reaching out to you all here today, you know, letting you know that they're looking for a public representative, a well-qualified representative from Starke County to sit on their board of directors. I have all the information, you know, you can reach Melissa at 219-794-1829, extension 2311. And she's the wife of State Senator Mike. She's a good friend of mine too, so.
They're just asking for one elected official
Yeah.
from the county.
Yeah, you know, they have, yeah,
And it
and
doesn't matter what level.
Council or whatnot.
right, their board has to be made up of 1/3 elected officials, actually. Or appointed if no elected one is available,
Is
so.
it- I assume they reached out to you because it's not just county elected, but elected potentially from any municipality either.
Yes, I'm gonna be going over to North Judson and having lunch with Andrew
But they only want.
this week too. One well qualified. You look at their website and it's quite extensive as well, Northwest Indiana Community Action. And they have a lot of, they have a lot of jobs that they're looking for, the people, I should say, and the like, and just maybe going forward, I'll reach out to Melissa again on this. But since she outreached, you know, she did her outreach to me, I'm just letting you all know that. How vital, how important, I think it probably is. So, one well-qualified individual, Rachel, that's you.
Wow.
That's you, dear.
I didn't know we got bus service in the county.
But I'm on 4 subordinate boards besides the common council. And I know you all are, you're stretched too, right? And you're harvesting crops, my friend.
Yeah.
But I thank you for your time and everything, and it's been a long meeting, I know that. But thank you for your time and on that,
No,
so.
that's good on you for getting the
You know,
word
if
out
you-
that we need to find that. and
Need
hopefully-
to find one individual. Exactly, so.
I've got enough on my plate, but I'll.
I do
You'll
right now.
consider it, sir?
I'll help you recruit.
All right. All right, let's recruit, right?
I'm sure we can get somebody.
And they really do, you know, energy assistance, they really do help seniors in a valid way, so thank you all very much. Thank you, guys. Great work.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait.
Wait, what?
Charlie, you know, let Charlie go through his like, Rachel, do you have anything else?
Rachel, do you have?
Yes. I have an individual who wants to serve on the BZA board. So if you find that letter to your satisfaction, you could approve that. And don't adjourn yet. I got one more thing.
Oh. You know, you write.
You may
this-
have a heart attack.
You write this agenda.
Yeah, and then people just keep piling it on like
Okay. Well, then that can wait until the next meeting, right?
they need someone.
Well, I'd say we, I mean,
Yeah, if,
sounds fine to me.
They do need all the qualifications.
Yeah.
yeah, if this satisfies all
Yeah.
divisional.
I mean, this is just one. I think they're down like 3 people right now.
Okay.
So you guys still have more
Yeah.
appointments to make.
I'll, motion second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And do you want me to call that Eric Wood and let him know?
Yeah.
Or one of you gonna call him?
Yeah.
Wait, no,
What am I doing? That's mine. You kept Mark's paper earlier. You get mine.
You can adjourn now if you want.
I thought there was one other thing.
That, just if you wanted me to call
Yeah,
Eric
you
Wood.
call him.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Was it he's gonna get Disney World this week?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's gonna be gone sometime.
Yeah, so I'll call him this.
So he is no.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
So the audit I showed you.